Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. It's been over a week since we've been on a Facebook Live, and I hope everybody is well. We hope everybody had a great Halloween. Obviously, as great as you can due to COVID and everything. As usual, I am joined by Carl, so we shall get him in right now. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. You know, bearing up under the current situation, but we're back. On a different night. It's kind of good now. We're on our own because we can spring up and surprise people whenever we like. And this is what we're doing tonight.
Try and surprise people.
Exactly. Well, you put a post out, so yeah, it's all good, all good. So yeah, looking forward to tonight. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's good because obviously we had these guys back on in August, was it?
Yeah.
Earlier, so it's be to see if obviously they've been up to anything since.
Well, we know they've been up to something because that's what we've got them on for. So yes, it's yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting as always. But I'll leave it down to you and go for it.
Right. So we will get our wonderful friends in now, Cee Cee and Johnathan from Paranormal Voyages.
Hi guys.
In Vegas, obviously.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. You?
Yes, not too bad. Yeah. We're just obviously, as we were saying off air, we're just preparing for our minimum of a month lockdown as of 12 o'clock this evening. So yeah, everything was being prepared today. You know, last bit of food delivery to survivors for a month. It's a bit like going into a nuclear fallout shelter, to be truthfully honest. But yeah, no, all prepared and surprising people that we're back on air again. So you know, pop up now and again.
Awesome.
Yeah, when no one least expects it, we're like poof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're a bit like the Scarlet Pimpernel. They seek him here, they seek him there, and then he suddenly pops up, and that's what PSHRadio's like.
Right.
So, of course, we've got you guys on because, as always, you do a Halloween episode, and this Halloween you did the famous Goldfield Hotel in Nevada. Was it Nevada? It is Nevada, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say Tuna Paw. That's why.
Sam, just a little question, just a little statement. You've been there.
I know, but I don't know whether it's Nevada or Tuna Paw, so, you know.
Tuna Paw's a town in Nevada. Nevada's the state.
Okay, whatever, there we go. I said Nevada first anyway, so there we go.
That's too funny.
Yeah, no, we obviously we were excited to see that obviously this is technically type of your Series 2 start, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, this is our start to our second season of Paranormal Voyages.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll say, you started with a goodie.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best probably to start with would be the Goldfield Hotel, considering that, you know, practically every investigator wants to get in there. And it's almost impossible to do that and to be able to get in there and actually perform a proper investigation was amazing. You know, if you've seen our episode, you'd seen the amount of energy that building contains and the experiences and evidence that we documented.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the thing that fascinated me, obviously, when you guys took us on a little bit of a road trip and we went there, and this was my first time to Goldfield, and I was expecting something a little bit more built up.
Mm-hmm.
But as you come down between the mountains on the road and you drop down and then you come into Goldfield, majority of Goldfield are single-story buildings, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you got a few that are, a couple stories, but it's a little town. It used to be really huge, obviously back in the early 1900s. it had multiple fires. So the town had burned down several times, including the Goldfield Hotel. And they finally rebuilt it back, as brick.
Yeah.
So, in stone. But yes, it's a little town. It only takes you 10 seconds to go through there, 20 miles an hour,
Yeah, because I think the bigger buildings is the high school and the hotel, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That and the jail.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, obviously, if anybody's been like sleeping under a rock or not watching or not into the paranormal, tell a little bit of history about the Goldfield before we talk about the episode, because I think it's important to make people aware how important this location is in the paranormal field, really.
Yeah.
The Goldfield Hotel was built in 1905, and the previous owner, George Wingfield, was said to frequent the building and stay there at times. He had people of all sorts housed there, from ladies of the night to military World War II soldiers, miners. A lot of miners were housed in there as well. And one particular woman by the name of Elizabeth, who he spent a lot of time with, and they believe that he got pregnant and chained her to a radiator in one of the hotel rooms and left her there, fed her until she gave birth, and he got rid of the baby, either threw the baby down the elevator shaft or a mining shaft, and she either died of complications or someone had her killed. Yeah.
It's got some incredible history behind it. And
it's an old mining town, so
Yeah.
it's a lot of history. Back in those days, things happened. A lot of things weren't documented. There were murders that occurred. A lot of people committed suicide. Jumped out of the buildings and hung themselves. If you watch our episode, you'll see us talk about the cowboys that had a shootout on the 4th floor. It's just a lot of death occurred in that town, especially around that time.
Yeah.
And as investigators, you kind of pick up on certain things, the energy, and when deaths go kind of unsolved and people aren't properly spoken about and things like that, that energy kind of stays around, creates all kinds of things.
Yeah, even with illnesses as well. So yeah.
Because I was fascinated. Obviously, you guys had you managed to get in on one of the tours that they did back last year in 2019, and some of the stuff that you picked up tied in so well with the episode, because obviously you captured the same sort of noises and stuff like that. Do you want to just tell everybody? Obviously, I'm hoping that everybody that's watching this tonight and played back has watched the episode and given it a big thumbs up. So, but just in case they haven't, and wet their whistles and tell them to go off and watch the episode, because obviously you went there on a tour.
Yeah.
And on your audio, you picked up on some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We did a tour in 2019. And as we were walking back towards past Elizabeth's room, we had spirit voices, and more than what we had actually put in there, come through and say, slap that girl, and like trying to get someone's attention. And we had voices come through the elevator saying, let us out. We didn't add that into the episode, but because we want to focus on what more was happening there at the time we were there. But there was a lot of things, and it ties in the voices we got in Elizabeth's area ties into what we had got during our interview with the now tour guide of the Goldfield Hotel. Yeah.
So the big question, I know you, I don't want to know the ins and outs of the secrets about it, because obviously we went and we visited. We wanted to try and get in, and I was like itching to get in, just to run around like a headless chicken ghost researcher that I am, because it's the Goldfield. How did you actually manage to secure the night of investigation to go in there? Because obviously the sad passing of Red recently and everything like that. So
actually, whenever you guys were out this way and we filmed with you at the Clown Motel, we spoke with that lady on the phone when you were with us.
Yeah, I remember.
Heather, we spoke with her, and we made that contact with her because she worked at the hotel, and now she does tours there. And I had her number. I messaged her up. One of the investigations we had out that way fell through. We went out there to go film, investigate. So I had to find something, really quick. And luckily, you found one of the best places you could go to, the Goldfield Hotel.
I was going to say that's not a bad emergency backup plan you had there, Jonathan.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an amazing just strike of luck, I guess. So we were able to get in through that way. And she does tours whenever she's able to. She does have a full-time job, so she does tours when she can, when she's available.
I think Sam's got some shout-outs to do. Well, we just want to welcome everybody listening because we've just gone absolutely mental in the numbers that are viewing live and in the chat room, which is brilliant.
Firstly, hi to anybody who's in the group, which is Marley, Lynn, Spooky Sisters. I need to link that. Alexis, Kiki, Christina, Joe, and Cole. Obviously, you guys know some of these guys.
What's up, guys?
Hi, guys.
One thing that we would like to state, because obviously this is StreamYard that we're doing this thing, you have to Sam, you'll explain it. I don't understand how this StreamYard works. So you actually appear
you have to
as
accept StreamYard, so we see it as your Facebook name and not a Facebook user.
So if you've got any questions for the guys, just post them in there. If you want to just have a happy little conversation in the chat room, go for it, because this is what it's about. It's bringing everybody together, and we want to. So yeah, Rita, thank you. Hi guys. And obviously for you guys. So any questions for the guys, this is your opportunity. If there's anything that you really wanted to ask Jonathan and Celia, this is your opportunity to grill them like a good steak. So just chuck it into the chat room and we'll open it up.
And also there is a few comments of what people thought of the episode, which we'll say that a bit later on for you guys. So
don't worry,
we'll save them for you a bit later.
We'll definitely get to your messages, whatever, and everything like that. So talk about okay, you've got the Goldfield. How did you go about preparing for it? Because it's such an iconic location, really.
Well, it's a lot of people already know about it. We know about it. We know the history. We did go around and we spoke to a few people that live there in Goldfield, a couple of the workers, business owners, and obviously the tour guide. And we got their input on what has happened there over the years since they've been there and what they know about it. And it's all basically the same as what we've been told over the years, So preparation was pretty easy in that sense. Like I said, most people already know about it. We put in what we thought was important to put in there for everyone. And the outcome was a little bit different than what we had expected, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Which we will get to, because that is something I want to talk to Celia about, because, that is really not how I expected the episode to go.
Yeah.
Everybody that is in the paranormal field knows the activity, knows about Elizabeth, the cowboys, the whole activity in the basement, etc. But I don't think that anybody that watched the show was expecting sort of as they described, the massive U-turn in the episode, the darker side of the episode that sort of flipped it around, which we'll discuss in a bit. So you're doing the interviews. You're interviewing the lovely lady across the road with the tie-dye purple shirt.
Yeah.
And I just wish I'd have gone into that shop, because I was watching the episode and I was looking over her shoulder, looking behind and thinking, oh, I think I would have bought that, because when we went, it wasn't open. So what is her association? Does she live in Goldfield, or?
Yeah, she lives in Goldfield. Celia did the interview with her. She owns the Goldfield Emporium, which is straight across from the Goldfield Hotel. And, you know, everybody knows that entire town is haunted. Everything in there is haunted. Her business is actually haunted as well. And they did invite us to come investigate there. They've had bad things, bad energies. They get rid of them. They come back. She has been in the hotel. She said she had been in there one time and she just didn't like the feeling in there.
Yeah.
But
especially like in the basement area, she said she didn't like the feeling in the basement area where you were
alone.
Yeah. She said she's not a basement person. She has problems with her basement as well. But yeah, she knew a lot of history there. She gave us a lot of interesting stories.
Obviously, we can't put everything into the episode. We actually have a lot more evidence that we plan to do a video and talk about and put in that video too.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I look forward to watching that, because that's. I was like, watch that episode, and I wanted more. It was just like. But I can understand the reasons behind why the episode was what it was. So the thing that fascinated me is obviously you guys, and then everybody that's watching now know that you guys are on this journey, and you're Las Vegas locals, and you have got the plethora of amazing locations on your doorstep or within a few hours drive. From the Clown Motel, Goldfield, etc., Mizpah, whatever, and you've done episodes on this, and for your show. But I'm fascinated. I would be like a kid in a large kid in a candy store if I walked in there to investigate the Goldfield. How did you keep yourself from going excited, or is that some of the behind the scenes stuff where you're running around going yay?
Yeah.
Trust me, we were very excited. It was a bit overwhelming when you walk into the building. It is a massive building. I mean, you from the outside you can tell it's big, but you cannot tell how huge it actually is. 4 floors, you know, and then the basement. And the rooms all wrap around in like a U shape, horseshoe shape, and there's a lot. And they've been renovating it for decades. They're getting there. I know Red, the owner, just passed away. He was 92 years old. He passed away last month when our episode airs, which was a little bit wild, you know, for us. But yeah, you walk in there, you can feel the energy. The 4th floor for me was completely different than any floor in there. As you see in the episode, what we experienced, and we'll talk about that as well more. But Celia, the 1st floor, she had a lot of energy in there. It was in the basement, but the 4th floor most definitely. It was, like I said, it was a bit overwhelming going in there, having that entire building to ourselves. So
I agree. The 4th floor has a different feel from the rest of the building. I mean, very, very weird feeling up there. Very weird.
How did you feel walking in there?
On the 4th floor? Oh, I felt like something.
The building.
In the building in general? Well, first of all, excited, but the energy on the 1st floor seemed a little welcoming in that area. I'll get back to the other area when we discuss it. But 2nd and 3rd floor, not too different. The basement was kind of funky. And the 4th floor definitely, or 3rd floor, what is it? 4th or the 3rd? It's 4th. Yeah, that one is really, it's off. Off.
Which I'm going to love discussing that. I believe we've got a question from Christina. Sam, if you could pop that up and I'll read it out to the guys. I was wondering, with you being an empath, how do you protect yourself from negative energy? And do you have anything that you do to recharge yourself, so to speak? And thank you, Christina, for your amazing question. So, Celia, what do you want?
So I do prayer, I do cleansing. I also ground myself. I prepare myself before and after. I think this time kind of like threw me off when I prepared myself at the last minute. So because we didn't really expect to get into Goldfield, I kind of opened myself up a little bit too much. But yeah, I had to cleanse myself afterwards. I do a lot of prayer, and I try to surround myself with light as well. Normally before and after. This time I didn't do it before. So yeah, but yeah, grounding myself and prayer is something that I dedicate myself to doing.
That's great, and thank you, Christina, for your questions. And like I said on numerous occasions, if you have any questions, just put them in there, because we'll ask the guys, because this is your opportunity. Because I know you've got your guys in there. So there, we got a question or a comment from Joe. I've investigated a hotel, and you guys did an outstanding job, my friend. So that's this is the thing that gets me, is like your support from your show. I personally, but I might be biased because I love you guys, but you have such a following behind, and I think you have kind of better following than some of the national TV shows, basically, because you've gone forward, you've had an idea, you're running with it, you're controlling what you do. And what goes into the episodes, and you're being faithful to yourself and also your fans, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. It means a lot to us that we have all of these people that are involved with us, support us. We love them for that. And we also want to show our appreciation to them as well. Always stay humble. Joe, we miss you. But
I've just realised who Joe is. Now the comments come up. Yeah, he's always giving me a hard time at the museum. Who are you, English person? Oh, you're with these two. Okay, that's fine. Sorry, I do apologise. That's kind of thrown me. But no, yeah, like going into like the first part of the episode, you were getting some interesting, like even on the walkthrough and the interviews, you were getting that amazing thing which tied into your 2019 tour. You were getting that psst, psst. Mm-hmm. Do you think that is somebody? I know in my eyes, as soon as I watched it, I was like, hang on, that could be this, that, and the other, but tying into what you got before, I'm thinking that's somebody trying to get your attention.
Yeah, when we were walking back there in 2019 with the private tour we had, and you heard that psst, psst, like that. Just after that's whenever the other girl says, "Slap that girl." I don't know if that psst, psst was someone else trying to warn them because they were ahead of me. Then once we walked back into that back room, which we feel more of the energy is, which we didn't get to explore that night because we had to cut the investigation short. But we feel there's more energy back there because once we got back there, when we did the tour, we had more of hissing sounds coming through and other voices. So people were trying to say that's possibly where Elizabeth was back there.
Not in the room that they actually say she was being held.
Right. Yeah, and then we did the interview with Heather. Celia did the interview with her, and I was recording, and we've got they came through again. You know, that was wild, and it also happened after Heather had stated that she wanted to communicate with Elizabeth. So it was like it was trying to get her attention at that time.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, the room 109 didn't really feel like it had a lot of energy. Like you said, the room farthest to the back in that hallway was where I felt a lot of energy. And
she captures an anomaly come into her room 109. And that anomaly actually is coming from that area of the other room that we're talking about.
Yeah, because that was very strange on camera because it wasn't like what we would typically call like a light anomaly. This was like what I described when I saw it, and I said it when we were watching it. It kind of looked like a jagged light, and it was like, and like you said, it came from outside. I was trying to work out possibly was it some sort of camera flare from your head torch, but then when I looked back, you didn't have your head torch on. So, and I couldn't understand how that moved through. And what you were picking up also when it was saying the boy in the room and all that sort of stuff, I was like, this is tying in. This is basically telling Johnathan what is happening elsewhere in the hotel.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, I was completely shocked. That was our first time using that app device, and we had so many amazing results out of that. At an investigation, we've obviously done it at little places like that, but a full investigation, that was incredible. It didn't let us down, and if, like I said, you watch the episode, you'll see everything else that they come through that and say.
No, absolutely, because I think the whole episode, everything was tying in because you were having responses coming through on that app. Just for my own thing and let everybody know, what app was it?
It's called Dead Wave. It is a reverb echo app. Now, what that does is it takes out, like the spirit box, it takes out all that static noise. Now, the spirits, they use these voices and that electromagnetic energy to communicate. That's how they communicate, just with the spirit box. Same thing, same concept, except it takes out that noise. And like I said, you watch the episode, you'll see, like they warned me on two different occasions, when two different things happened with the boy, with the bat. The bat was never even down there that entire time. I had a camera rolling, never down there, but they warned me the entire time I was down there until it actually came into the room and scared the hell out of me. Okay.
I was going to say about that because I was when I was hearing it and I'm thinking, are we talking about a bit of wood that's going to move? And I think you thought exactly the same when there was all the bits of wood and you sort of focused on that. I wasn't expecting you to then jump out of your skin when a bat flew down, but then it ties so well into what you were responding when it says the bat, and I'm like, wow, that is unbelievable.
It was completely unbelievable, and I wasn't picking that up, at the time. I wasn't quite picking up, that part of it until after review. But some people say, okay, well, it's an app, maybe someone's listening in on the other side. Listening to you, and they're answering your questions that way. Okay, we could say that, but there's flaws in that because, for instance, with the bat, for one, a lot of people use the app, so they would have to have a lot of people employed to listen in and do that. Okay. For two, the bat. I never once said the bat. Okay, never talked about the bat. Right. How did they know if they were? How would they have known that the bat was there?
Right.
And when it wasn't even downstairs yet, it had flown downstairs.
Well, you see it coming down the stairs.
And then once it comes around to the room I was in and flies at me, you hear the voice say, the bat is, and then once it gets in the room, it says, here, like that. Like as soon as it gets in the room. So it's amazing.
And what did it's going to sound like a really strange question, but you must have thought, do I need to change my underwear now? Because I've been in locations and bats have come out and because they're so silent, the little suckers. Yeah, they're so quiet until they sort of dive bomb you. You don't hear them coming.
Yeah, it was very shocking to me because probably I had to cut it short a little bit between the time frame, but before that, probably about 40 seconds before that had happened, I'd seen that shadow. And the shadow was a humanoid shadow. Okay. In the static camera that I had toward the stairs, the bat wasn't even down there. It hadn't even flown down the stairs yet. So you can rule that completely out. And then the humanoid part to it, where it looks like a human shadow. Unfortunately, my camera didn't pick it up. I thought it was really odd, but that really got me. And then 40 seconds later, the bat comes around the corner. So yeah, absolutely, I was scared to death. I
must admit, and there was no bleeps.
We had one bleep in the whole episode, and that was whenever my finger was touched.
Because I was going to say, if I'd have been in that location and a bat flies at me, I think the air would be kind of blue, to be truthfully honest. So I do praise you, Jonathan, for having control of not turning the air a little bit blue. But yeah, it made amazing. And the thing that I know I'm joking about it, but the thing that fascinated me and blew me away was the responses you were getting on the app, and then the bat and everything like that. Because I've never seen it. I've used apps. And you kind of like, you kind of I'm in and ahhing about them. You don't really get much that you think ties in. But your responses you were getting off that app, whoever designed that app needs to take his ass off, because on that particular time, wow.
That was
all relevant.
Yeah, that was incredible. Everything was intelligent replying. It was, like you said, relevant. The bat, it kept warning me about a bat. It came in and it said exactly, once it entered the room, it said the bat is here. Mm-hmm. You can't deny that. There's no way possible that anyone could fake that at all. When it comes down to the app, there's nothing.
That's a great app.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was warning me about the boy, kept talking about the boy, whoever the boy was, who do you think
the boy, that boy, are you thinking it is a boy, or are you thinking they're talking about a male energy? Now you've had time to obviously think about it, and do you have any ideas of what it is?
I've tried to wrap my head around it, and honestly, I'm trying to understand what they're talking about. They kept saying the boy. Who's the boy? We got to do a little bit more research into that now that we know that they're talking about that. Celia, what did you feel?
I didn't feel like it was good energy, to be honest with you. It kind of felt negative, and the fact that it wouldn't let me go, I don't know where the boy ties into this. Maybe someone in the past, before the late Red Roberts, bought the building. Maybe, who knows? People broke in there. They had squatters in there. They might have conjured something up in there that just decided to say, I'm going to mess with these people.
And the tour guide actually in our episode spoke about a guy recently in the past several years that came there, didn't live in Goldfield. And this has been confirmed by other people we spoke to in Goldfield as well. He came to the front of the Goldfield building and shot himself and killed himself.
I know. I was shocked by that.
I don't know how old he was, the boy. I don't know. Maybe that's who they're speaking about. And he did state, he left a note saying that the ghost said for him to kill himself.
That's just horrible to think that somebody that doesn't live there is out of town, and they're drawn to do that. Such a sad thing.
Yeah.
And you're right. And I watched the episode when that came up. I was also trying to rack my brains around the boy. Is it something where they when they say about a child, portraying a child, was it something like that?
Yeah.
We got Joe saying, what was the most intense moment to you, Jonathan, in the hotel?
Well, besides the bat flying in my face, I'd say probably upstairs. I mean, downstairs was crazy. As soon as I walked down there, something was thrown while I was down there in the back corner room, and they did.
Yeah, because you heard that on the episode.
Yeah, they were saying that they did throw it through the app as well, and they're talking about a stick. And I was telling them to move something again, and it said it'll hurt their back, and things like that were coming through, which is intelligent. But the fourth floor really just, the energy there is most intense for me. You might not have really seen it in me there at that moment, but it's just really intense up there. And then we heard the woman's voice. I mean, it literally sounded like a woman in the room next to us. And she was mapping out someone in that room as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was mapping right next to you, wasn't it, on the SLS? Mm-hmm. And it kept on and I was looking at the other footage where you were pointing the SLS just to see, out of my own tech craziness that I have, just to see if there's anything potentially that could be mapping. But it was just drywall. It was just plain drywall.
Yeah, it was just a wall.
Yeah. And of course, we had a lot of intelligent replies up there as well. And it also was stating that the boy was in the room when we heard something in the room, and for us to get out. So that obviously means that the boy isn't something very nice, which I stated.
Yeah.
And then that's when we heard a woman. It sounded to us like a woman clearly there.
A full sentence too.
Yeah, and in the episode, the audio is a bit different. It sounds more of like a growl, which was a little odd to me. But our ears heard a woman speaking in the room next to us, and we also heard something before that. And they said, "The boys in the room, get out."
Right.
So I go over there to see what's going on, and at this time, Celia's really getting drained, and she couldn't do it anymore, and I couldn't go any further in there to investigate it because obviously, she's more important, her health and well-being. So that's whenever we had to decide to cut the investigation short. We had been there several hours. I don't feel we got fully what I wanted as in investigating, but we got a lot of evidence and experiences.
No, absolutely. For like you're saying, if you were just in there a few hours, what you see on the episode is truly amazing. And Celia, I just want to ask you, because obviously if this could be kind of uncomfortable for you because you had an intense experience, and I know that being the person you are, when you feel the burning sensation, you kind of know what's happening, don't you?
Yeah,
How did you stay in there for so long when you had that burning experience?
I wanted to make sure that this was exactly that was exactly what I was experiencing. I didn't want to just say, okay, it's burning, I want to leave. I wanted to kind of face whatever was there. I wanted to see if I would get some more. And as I stood there longer, the burning got worse and worse. That's when I started to feel sick. And I felt like at one point I was surrounded, like I had a person in front, behind, and on each side of me, just like looking at me. And then I just like got to the point where I just couldn't breathe. I felt suffocated. I felt nauseous. I thought I was going to drop to my knees. And I was like, I think I'm going to walk out now, because if I collapse, he's not going to know. He'll probably find me there, So I that's when I took the initiative to actually step out. I heard a lot of shuffling in the hallway as well.
Which you also hear shuffling on the lock-off camera, don't you? You where when you guys, I think you guys were either outside or whatever going out. When you were on the lock-off, you hear the shuffling. I big respect to you to be in that location on your own, and me personally, knowing you guys, there was one part in the episode where you were sort of filming yourself, and I kind of looked at you and thinking, hang on, that doesn't look like you. Your eyes were kind of different.
To Celia?
Yeah.
At one point I had a little bit of confusion in my head. I felt a little confused and I felt like I was losing time, but I was just like battling myself and whatever was trying to take hold of me. I felt a little off. I really did. And my thoughts were kind of focusing in and out of negative intentions. But deep down within my heart, I start praying, and that's when I decided to cut it out.
Yeah, she's very sensitive to this. I mean, we're both empaths, but she's very sensitive to it. And she does get scratched every now and then, depending on the energy at the location. And that's what happened at the Goldfield. Unfortunately, we don't feel that was something positive. And what I mean by that, my theory, I've said this over the years a lot. I don't always necessarily feel that scratches are always negative. And why I say that is because our energies, our aura, I think, sometimes it's just our energies clashing, them reaching out to us. And sometimes they just leave certain marks on certain places.
Right.
In this case, it was a lot different. I mean, she felt negativity. At the end of the episode, you'll see after we had to leave and walk out, you'll see more scratches and darker.
That's what I was gonna say. When you look at the two photos of the scratches, you can see on the first photo two, and then a kind of another one. But on the next one, there's loads on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It got a little more intense after, especially when we decided to go back into the building and take the investigation upstairs. Started to get a little more intense. The burning got a little more intense as well.
That must have taken some pushing yourself after you've had that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you've taken that time to go outside and then to go back in. That really must have taken a lot to push yourself to go back in, didn't it?
It did. It took a lot. Like I said, I try to surround myself with light, and I think at that point, I was a little weak already from what had happened. And then going upstairs, even though I was trying to stay focused with everything and trying to keep myself with the light around me, it still managed to get the best of me. It was like a good blow to the stomach, and it really took a toll on me.
Because obviously you guys went back in. It's all on the episode. You went back in. You went back up to that particular area, and you obviously got then affected again, where you took the correct because you could have just pushed yourself, and you could have then had major issues, but you took the correct decision to finish it. Finish the actual investigation. But you were saying on that second part, you felt like you had pressure on you, like you were being. I think you said you would felt like you were being hugged really tight,
really hard. Yeah, kind of like when someone gives you a bear hug, but their intentions are to really squeeze you, and you kind of feel like you're getting lightheaded. That's exactly what it felt like.
So you're losing your breath because it's that tight, you can't breathe in and breathe out. That must have been kind of scary for you, Johnathan, because obviously your relationship with Celia and everything like that. So you then have to make that decision from being an investigator to being the partner. Then.
Yeah, it was. I had to make that decision right there on the fourth floor. Like we said, once it initially happened, the scratches, went out, took a break. Okay, she's feeling a little bit better. Let's go try this again, because at that point we'd only done the basement in Elizabeth's room. So I wanted to get up on the fourth floor because it was calling my name, let's say. And once she got up there, we were up there for a little bit, and she couldn't do it, So I was like, well, I don't really want to carry her down the stairs.
I am pretty heavy.
I could tell that she was really being affected at that point badly. So we had to call it. We just had to do it,
Yeah.
Safety is important.
I also felt like I was kind of letting him down in the sense of how I was feeling, and I didn't want to let him down, and I wanted to continue with this, and I didn't want us to cut it short, but I guess, yeah.
And we were there for several hours, and we got a lot of evidence and interaction. Cutting it short don't mean that we don't have anything in there. We have a lot. We just investigating standards, my standards of what I wanted to complete and explore. We had to cut that part short. But the energy was amazing. We do not feel that there's a lot of negative in there. There's a lot of good spirits, as you can tell, that were trying to warn me about things that were coming through.
Yeah.
But definitely a negative energy in there, whoever the boy is, and we hope to find out, in the future.
Yeah.
So
But Sam, I believe we got another little post from Mr. Joe, Angry Joe. You guys got plenty. My intense moment was on the first floor. Never made it to the fourth floor, but been there through you. So yeah, as Joe says, I think anybody that watched the show got a real feeling of it kind of was building up to that moment that you obviously had to call it. And it fascinated me with the responses you were getting through the app. The stuff that you were capturing on the lock-off, the physical, personal experiences that you both were having. Yes, you were only in there a few hours, but wow, what an episode!
Thanks.
Thank you.
It was incredible, and definitely one of our most intense for sure. I really wasn't expecting. We weren't expecting what had happened at all. But we did get a little bit of poltergeist activity, so in the basement. So that was wild for me to walk down there and something to be thrown. It was louder for me, but in that back room where all the wood was, and then they stated, they're trying to throw a stick,
Yeah, and then they state that they couldn't do it again or something.
Yeah, they were trying to, they couldn't. Hurt their back or something like that came through. So it was amazing, the shadow was seen down there, what she experienced, and then what we both experienced on the 4th floor with actually hearing a disembodied voice. It sounded like to me someone was actually in there, but they weren't because we had a camera up there the entire time.
Right.
So no one.
One of the questions that obviously me being the tech geek I am, you had a thermal imaging camera.
Mm-hmm.
What type of camera were you using? Was it like a FLIR or a FLIR 1 or
a FLIR camera that you attach to? You can actually attach it to an iPhone, but we have to do an iPad, a big iPad that actually you can see in the episode sitting there. It's amazing. We've had it probably for 2 years. I haven't captured any visual anomalies on it. It's hard to do, but occasionally some people it does happen. We do capture. It's good you can capture voices and things like that. So that's pretty wild.
That's why you put a digital recorder next to it, so you're capturing it all the time. I've watched the episode like twice now because obviously I was like first time it's just like I'm like watching it for the first time. I'm not looking. I'm like okay, I know you guys or whatever. And then second time I'm looking for other things happening as a researcher that I am. And I have to say, out of all your episodes, and you've done some amazing episodes, that was one of the episodes that really, really grabbed me big time.
Thanks. Yeah. A lot of people.
It was just incredible, the coalition and the linking between various bits of equipment, and that's what I liked, and that's what I like to having a response of say a millimeter or what is great, but if you can then get linked in with various other bits of equipment, EVP and the app or whatever, and that's what you guys had.
Yeah. It all linked in together. You can't deny that. You can't deny what had happened. It's whenever, like you said, when everything links in together like that, you got visual anomalies, you've got the audio, you've got your personal experiences. When all those link in together, and then it comes to light of what's going on, you can't deny that.
No, exactly. And yeah, I know there's going to be skeptics. There's skeptics out there. They won't believe spirits exist until they see one, and even then, they probably will look for a different reason. Just quickly, Angry Joe's saying, great program and interview. Need to go. Bye, guys. So thanks for joining us, Joe. And we just have a hello from Mikey.
Hello. Hi.
I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'm English, and we butchered the English language, so I do apologise if I got your name wrong. So, you've opened your season 2 up with this episode.
Yes.
I try every time we interview you guys, so I'm going to try. What's next?
Well, obviously, we're going to be staying around this area. We do plan to focus on more places in Goldfield for obvious reasons. So there will be more Goldfield episodes that will come to light in this second season. We will do other places as well. So we do have some old brothels coming up, old theater. So from the early 1900s, different things like that.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Please say one of your episodes is the high school.
No, it's not right now. But we have been there. We did get a lot of stuff. We didn't post anything major from there. It was a crazy place as well, but we do plan to go back there. They want a good bit of money, who they have running that right now. So we'll play that how it goes out.
Because that place, even when we were just stood outside, that place just has that real creepy feeling outside.
It is, yeah. It's wild in there too. Like I said, we've been in there, and it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's actually the first place we investigated in Goldfield was the high school in 2017.
And if anybody out there would like sees a location and just one of those places in your back of your mind, you go, yeah, if that's going to be haunted, if I believe in ghosts, that place looks haunted because it does look like it. I would have hated to have gone to school there. Rita's saying Pet Cemetery.
Oh yeah, we did a live video yesterday on our YouTube channel, Paranormal Voyages, at a pet cemetery. Now you're thinking, okay, well, how are you going to communicate with pets? That's not why we were there. We looked up some places in Boulder City out here in Nevada, 30 minutes away outside of there, and told her, let's find some cemeteries, let's go do something live. And she found this cemetery outside of Boulder City off of the highway in the desert. And it is, I mean, several football fields long. Did not expect that. And it's old. It's a very old pet cemetery, so it's creepy. But we went there because Celia had looked up and they people were saying that it had mob ties. Yeah. And as you know, Las Vegas obviously was built by the mob. So,
and obviously Celia has links.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so nice to Celia, because she has links to the mob.
But what people were saying over the years, that the mobs would take their victim out there and bury them. No one's going to look in a pet cemetery in the desert for human remains. So we went out there to see, and we didn't expect it, but we had a lot of spirit communication, intelligently replying, saying my name. They told us goodbye when we were saying goodbye, and however many fingers she was holding up.
I held up my hand, my fingers. At one point, we got a response when I held up 5 fingers. Male's voice came through saying 8 minus 3. Which is 5. I was like, okay, smart aleck.
Wow.
So that was a creepy place we did live yesterday. That's what she was speaking about.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do, I know everybody that's watching probably knows all the links, but I have to say, as part of my job, we're going to post all the links in the chat room and on our social media for you guys in the episodes, etc., etc. So I just have to do that part at this time of the show. Yeah. So you've obviously got when's the next episode due out?
We want to try to get an episode out every month. Yeah. That's subject to change, obviously, with things going on. But and obviously, I do all the editing and everything, so it takes a little bit of time with one person doing a 20-person job. But yeah, we want to try to do it every month for this second season, basically like the first season. So maybe more than that. But in the meantime, we will be traveling around doing live videos and putting little small things together for people that watch our channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was fascinated when I watched you guys live when you were at the Bonnie and Clyde card. Mm-hmm. Because that's something that I'm completely and utterly obsessed with. That whole the gangster era and that whole area of the history of the Bonnie and Clyde thing, and having the car with the bullets and the clothing, and that's just crazy. Yeah,
there's definitely energy there.
Oh,
we did a live thing. We do have a video we put together on there too. We did a spirit box session. We had one voice come through on Bonnie's side whenever I asked her. I can't remember what I said now. I asked her if she was there, and she said stop. It was a girl's voice that said stop that came through. Mm-hmm. So we did stop after that. But it's actually in Whiskey Pete's casino. So it's on the casino floor in the back, and they have who else's car back there?
They have some other driver, Al
Capone's car, one of his cars that was shot up there too.
Whiskey Pete's, that's Fremont Street, isn't it?
No, it's off the interstate down here.
Oh, okay. Because I've been trying to rack my brains where it is. I thought it must have been Fremont Street because obviously that's old Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so it's off
35
strip.
Away. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I watched your live and I was like, we've got to go there. I have to go. So you've got, obviously you're going to try and do it show once a month, obviously with the fun and times we're having in this world. Obviously life can get in the way and everything like that, and I just want to take 2 seconds that everybody in the world just stay safe, and obviously just do all that sort of stuff, and because it is a crazy time. I've never experienced a year like this. To be truthfully honest, I've never not travelled, at least in a year. And I'm like, I've still got dollars I need to spend, so I need whoever's in power to open up that gateway between us and you guys, so I can actually get out there again.
Right.
But we're coming up to the hour. This hour just always flies amazingly quick with us guys, and I just want to personally say thank you very much. Anybody that hasn't watched the episode, go out and watch that episode. Follow them, like it and share it, because it's a different type of paranormal show. It's not like the usuals, and it's well worth the watch. So yeah, go and follow these guys. But thanks guys for always coming on.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure, you know that. And one question, me personally, where do you get your the paranormal lantern from?
The paranormal lantern, actually, I came across it on someone shared in a paranormal equipment group, and they have the link to Amazon, and it's like $109 US dollars plus whatever the shipping will be wherever you're at.
If you offline, if you could send me that link, because I think I need one, because I've obviously, like, if anybody that watched the last interview guys with it and you had it on the shelf behind you and it was going off when I asked the questions and stuff like that, so, I need to get one of those. But guys, I'm going to pass you back over to Sam. But personally, love you guys lots.
We love
you
you
like crazy. And I really hope that we can meet up in person really, really soon.
We will.
But I'm going to pass you over to the lovely Sam, and to finish off the show.
Alrighty.
Again, guys, thank you. If anybody's obviously doesn't know who these guys are, please go and follow him. Paranormal Voyages on Facebook. You can also find them on YouTube. And if you're new to watching us, because these guys have brought you over, feel free to like our page too and find us on YouTube. We do tend to go live doing these sort of shows, different guests, different topics every Sunday now. So, yes. So it's a good night from Cee Cee and Johnathan, or shall we say good evening over there?
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And it's a good night from Carl.
Yes, and we will be back. Not too sure. I'm sure Sam will tell me when I'm next turning up to chat. But yeah, thank you, Cee Cee and Johnathan. Thank you for everybody that joined us in the chat room. If you have any questions or any comments on how we can improve the show, or you've got some people that you want us to interview, or if you would like to come on the show, hint, hint, Angry Joe, do get in contact with us, because we would love to move these forward and go from that. Always a pleasure, and I will see you on the flip side on the next show.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.
Bye.